So you've decided that in 2021 you're going to treat yourself to a new set of irons. And you've also decided you're going to go tailor-made, but you haven't decided if you're going to go for the P770 or the P790 iron. Which one's best for you, which one's best for me, and which one should you spend your hard-earned money on? Let's do it, and let's do it now. Hi everyone, James Robinson here guys. First things first, I'd like to warmly welcome you all to this YouTube channel. If you are new to the channel guys, take 2 seconds, hit that subscribe button below and you won't miss any of the great golf related content I bring to you guys 365 days a year. Today we are testing the Taylormade P770 iron against the all new Taylormade P790 iron. Guys, get in the comments below, what do you think will suit me? And also, which iron would you choose out of Taylormade's new 2021 lineup? They do look fantastic, don't they? I think it's amazing what they've done with these. Oh, wonderful. Right, so what we're going to do guys, we're going to start with the P770. I've got it pretty much in my specs. I've got it 1 degree flat, a Project X 6.0 shaft, standard length. What more could I want from an iron? Then we're going to put this shaft in the P790. We're going to see exactly what the differences are. We're going to talk what the differences in spec are and see just what the difference in distance, spin and control are. And then you guys can make your own mind up which iron I should choose and maybe which one you should go and get fitted for. Kick things off with a 4 right, but it was a fantastic strike. You see guys, for me looking at these irons, they both look fantastic, and I think we might well see quite a few split sets in here, maybe 770 up to a 7 iron 6 iron, then 5 iron 4 iron in the P790, maybe even a 7 iron in the P790. The only thing that may halt that a little bit is the loft. So I've got 2 7 irons here. The P770 loft is 33 degrees and the P790 loft is 30.5 degrees. So there's 2.5 degrees of difference in these irons. Now if you went split set, that might be, oh, I've got the wrong one here. They look that close together. I've actually started with the P790 and didn't realise, so you're going to have to, we are on the right setting though, so that's okay. Now, isn't that incredible that they look that similar, that I've chose the wrong one, having played with these irons already, having reviewed these irons already. And I mean, the P790, I actually thought it looked a little bit chunky when I reviewed this new 2021 model, but compared to the 770, it's really not that bad. So there's a little bit of an insight for you for a kickoff. We're going to leave that over there so we don't make any more mistakes. Right, back to the 790. That's more like it. That's absolutely glorious. So the Taylormade P790 does feature a brand new speed foam air, which is designed to be 69% lighter than its predecessor and provides an average of 3.5 gram of weight saving, which has been redistributed around the head to give a better CG and better weighting. It also has a new thin wall 8620 carbon steel construction, which makes the head thinner by 37.5%. That's quite a lot, it's nearly 40%, which is nearly half. The sweet spot on the P790 has also been intelligently relocated for more ball speed on off-centre hits anywhere around the face. And who can forget the good old through slot speed pocket? I mean, we also have that on a few of the 770s as well, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. So one of the things that Taylormade have tried really hard to do with this P790 is just that, make it feel that little bit softer. That was an incredibly toey shot, but it still felt okay, it sounded okay, and it's still gone a pretty decent distance. Now I've got no doubt that the players that are going to be buying the P790 want raw distance, want the ball to go a long way, want a nice high towering iron shot. And sometimes when I've tested the P790s of old, that's exactly what they got, but it kept going kind of 10 yards further, which certainly isn't ideal. I don't think we get as much of that with the new one. There's another one right. I don't think this is the iron, I'm going to be fair. Now, as you all know, my bad shot is generally left with irons, with wedges, with driver, and with putter. So for me, looking down at any kind of offset is a little bit unsettling. Now, the P790 isn't actually that bad. It almost has, there's enough there, but not too much to make you think, I better just, however in my head, this is what I'm giving you the excuse for the shots to the right, all right? I'm hoping the P770s will be a little bit straighter on that regard. Let's hit a handful more. Delightful, that's the shot. That's the shot I expect with this club, around 175 yards, 10 yards further than I would usually hit a 7-iron. Remember, at 30.5 degrees, they are quite strong lofted, and I would expect the spin to be around 5.5, which again, is quite low for a 7-iron, but then for a club of this ilk, that's almost what I expect as well. Right, I've hit 5 shots, I'm gonna hit 5 more, then we're gonna jump into the P770, we're gonna test the numbers, test the feel, test everything, and show you guys the results. You've got to throw a like on it for that. What more do you want? This is a fitting head, by the way. You don't get adjustable shafts in either of these irons. Can't believe I'm saying that, but I will. Right, exactly the same specs. P770, Project X 6.0, 1 degree flat. No excuses, James. Go and hit 5 decent shots for us. I love that noise. Go and hit 5 decent shots for us, then we'll hit 5 more with each. I'll not show you all those because you don't need to see them, just to make sure we've got enough numbers to actually give you a distance, or a difference should I say. Oh, that's delightful. 1,000 more spin, 166. Carbon copy, that's delightful. So the P770 obviously does have a smaller head profile, it has a shorter blade length, it has a thinner top line, it has a little bit less offset, it pretty much has everything that the lower handicap player from the P790 would want. And I hate saying the low handicap player, but I know I always keep saying it. Generally the better iron player would want this kind of iron. Now a lot of people, needs shining up a bit, doesn't it? Now a lot of people will say, but James, why do you want that? Why do you want it to be harder to hit? Why don't you want just a P790, which you'd get away with a little bit more? I don't know. I do know. The reasoning that you want all that is that for a P770 player, you don't just want raw explosive distance. You want the element of control. You want more control with your ball flight, more control with your landing zone, and more control with the spin rates. That's pretty much what the P770 does offer you. And they do that by providing a more compact shaping, which we've already spoke about. It still has a forged hollow body construction, forged with a 410 40 steel face, soft carbon steel body, and up to 46 grams of tungsten weighting to allow for explosive distance and forgiveness. There you go. Now, if you guys watch the channel a lot, you will know Chris, our short game expert, and he is a good player. He's a PGA pro. He's probably a similar standard to me, although he's losing every week at the minute. You have to go and check out the Golf Catcher Friday series if you want to see that. But he uses these because he says, well, why do I want to make golf difficult for myself? I don't practice, I don't take lessons, I just want to go and play and enjoy it and still play okay and shoot good numbers. So should more people take that idea and get something a little bit more forgiving that still looks and performs pretty good? And you know what the interesting thing is? I'm not even striking these that well. I'm not striking them incredibly well and smashing them 200 yards for a 7-iron. I'm actually striking them quite average, but still seeing some pretty good results, which is more impressive to me than smashing it miles. So this is the last shot with the P770, then we're going to go back into the P790, hit another half a dozen with that, then jump back into the 770. I'm not going to show you all those, well, I'll show you them all. I'm not going to talk through all of them because I'm sure you're all sick of the sound of my voice. I mean, that's just wonderful. That is so good. It sounds so good. The P770 for me definitely sounds and feels that little level above than the P790. I think that's what Taylormade have tried to do with this, and I think they've done it quite well. Is there part of my glove in there? There isn't there? Oh, look at that. Brand new glove today as well, and I've trapped half of it in there. Now I'm going to go into the P770. I'm going to take my glove off to change these heads as well. Go through gloves like no one's fashion. There's nothing worse than spending money on golf gloves either, is there? Right, rant over. And we're back into P790. Now, I was expecting this to look really big and clumsy, having gone from the 770 back into the 790, and actually it doesn't. It still looks quite compact. And I'm quite surprised. It's funny how your mind can sort of change the more you see something, isn't it? Right, 5 of your best. And that's actually 5 pretty good shots. That's 178 yard 7-iron, albeit spinning at just shy of 5,000. So now we're going to jump back into the 770. We're going to look at the numbers and I'll talk to you guys which iron I would choose from what I see. It might not necessarily be the longest iron, but it might not be the one you expect, so make sure you stay tuned to the end. Let's, tell you what, there you go, that was quick, wasn't it? Right, P770, better change the computer. So that is 20 golf shots. I must admit, I'm impressed with about 16 of those. That's some really good numbers, some real consistent numbers, not in that I've absolutely ripped every one of them, but in that I feel like I've given them a proper fair test, testing out the technology in them, hitting them out the toe, hitting them a little bit bottomy, which is what I like to do when I'm testing golf clubs. Sometimes you can stand there and rip them all, and it almost doesn't matter what you're hitting because you're going to get good numbers from them. Today, I feel like we've tested what these are about today. So what's the difference between the Taylormade P770 and the new 2021 P790? Let's take a look. So we'll kick things off with dispersion, and this is the P790, as you can see. A couple of wayward shots, a little few to the right. I soon got into my trend with that and stopped worrying about the offset, and actually not too bad. I love how those peak trajectories are all very, very similar. That's something which I like to look at in fittings and when testing irons. Moving over to the 770, you can see it definitely suited my eye a little bit more, a lot more consistency. A couple that leaked right again, but nothing too bad really. Nice fades that I'm actually trying to play there. So very happy with that. I'm actually quite surprised. I've swung, to say how averagely I've swung, I'll not say bad, I'll say average. That's not too bad. Numbers, we'll look at the 20 shots on average, and you can see the 790 going 6 yards further at 176 as opposed to 1770. With the P770, interestingly, that's still 5 yards further than my standard 7-iron at 165. Club head speed 88 as opposed to 88.8, so very, very similar. Same shaft length, same clubs, that's just down to inconsistencies in my swing. However, with less club speed with the P790, we develop more ball speed, which we've got to put down to the technology in the head. Interestingly, the P790 spinning average at 4.860, which is incredibly low for a 7-iron, and the P770 at 5.445, which again is still quite low, but a little bit more bearable. So I know what you're all thinking at home. And guys, before I tell you which one I would use, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already to the channel so you can see more videos like this. Surely for 6 extra yards, you're going to go with the P790, aren't you? I mean, 6 extra yards throughout the bag could be massive. But then you start to look at the spin rate, and you start to look at that. I missed a few right because I wasn't too sure on the offset on it. For me, guys, I'm going to go P770 all day long. I could actually see myself putting these in the bag. I have started practicing a little bit more and playing a little bit more, so I'm not really in the mood to change anything in my bag at the moment because I'm trying to make me the culprit and not the equipment in the bag. But if I wanted something a little bit easier to hit than my Mizunos, these are something that I'd definitely go and look at. They look the part, they actually feel the part, which I didn't think they would when I initially tested them. And the numbers are pretty good. 170, yeah, 5.5 spin for a 7-iron isn't a lot, but the ball's going plenty high enough, so you're still going to have plenty of stop on there. Interestingly, if you want to see a video on how to hit the golf ball high with your irons, I filmed that as well today, so that'll be on the channel soon, or I will have linked it in the description below. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Get in the comments below, which iron would you use out of the P770 and the P790? For me, I think there is definitely still a market for the P790. I don't think the P770 has wiped it out because there's plenty of people who want the extra 6 yards. Some people will see a bigger difference in there as well, depending on where you do strike it on the face of your irons. And they might even give you that little bit more confidence looking down at them with the thicker top line and bigger profile. Guys, like I said, if you've enjoyed that, smash that subscribe button below. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of your time. And apart from that, I'll see you at the same time, hopefully tomorrow. Bye.